outside. I'm gonna have to try and find some place to pull over and check it out. Hopefully it's nothing major. It almost sounds like I don't know, like something's hanging outside of the door and hitting it, so we'll see. So there you have it. It was my backpack strap. It was hitting. It seems to be fine now. I got it in. Let's get back on the road. Again, the toughest part of getting out of Seattle is actually getting out of Seattle. On the way to the state park, it's a longer trip than I anticipated, and then when you add stops like these, traffic like this, it makes it a little difficult to want to go do this. But the nice part is, once I'm out of the city, into the state park, into my setup, I'll cook some dinner and I'll start to unwind, and it'll all be worth it. Good morning. Slept okay. The nice part about having the Hasika tent awning is that I can leave the back gate open, and it allows great airflow in, so I really like that. Temperatures weren't too hot or too cold. It was just right. It was the kind of the Goldilocks sleeping in terms of weather. Still working on the bed. My shoulder, left shoulder, again, nothing to do with the actual bed, is still very sore, so it affects how I sleep. But today, I'm gonna make some breakfast, do a hike, and explore, I think it's called Dosewallips. So that's what we're going with until I find the correct pronunciation. But I think that that's the way we're going to call this state park. Regardless, it's a beautiful state park from what I can see. I got here late, almost 4 hours to get out of Seattle to get here. So that's a whole other story we'll talk about at some point, but time to go do some breakfast. So breakfast is over. The site is all clean. Time to get me cleaned and dressed and get ready for a hike. I'm gonna explore this park. Okay, so this trailhead seems to go up in the back and then we'll cross 101 and I believe on the other side is water. I know there's water there because when I drove in, I actually drove to that side of the park. So we're gonna take this trailhead, see if it crosses over. If not, we'll come on back and then cross on over and see the water. So I guess the Roddy cutoff is closed, but the Fire Road is still open. So we'll stay on that trail. Gotta tell you, the vegetation here is absolutely gorgeous. You feel like you're really deep in the forest. The hike is moderate, not quite beginner, but not too difficult, very hilly. And it's just a really gorgeous way to relax and unwind and unplug and just get in tune with nature. So we just came from Maple Valley. There's no name for this, but it looks like it's just an access road. We're gonna take this down and see where it takes us. Okay, so we're at the Steam Donkey Loop. It's just up the road, I don't know, 20 yards from Maple Leaf. Let's try this. So as I was doing some research for this park, one of the things they talked about is the moss and how it grows everywhere. And look at this, just absolutely gorgeous. Seeing it grow all over the trees is really cool. Yep. I think this could be a set from Star Wars. Maybe Dagobah during the sunlight, if there was sun on Dagobah. All right, so I still don't know where this trail is taking me, but it also feels like this is just going straight up. It's a beautiful hike. At some point soon, probably, I'm gonna have to stop and drink some water. I'm fascinated to see where this is gonna end up. So the trail turned over, started to go downhill now. And so I think it's circling back to the trail head. Still haven't seen the water, so we still may have to kind of walk out of the park and go to the other side to see it. But again, vegetation really, really good. Not a beginner trail, a little bit more moderate. I look at beginner as my mom, who's a little bit older and basically needs flat totally, versus my daughter, who is still in her 20s, late 20s, and likes to hike where she can backpack in and tent camp. So when I say beginner versus, you know, expert, that's the scale I'm using. My mom, beginner, my daughter, the expert. Oh, and for the record, I'm probably somewhere in the middle, near my daughter, but not quite that. I do have a couple years on her. Okay, this is not good news. The trail seems to end, and I can't figure out where it is. I'll look around a little bit longer, but then I'm probably gonna have to go all the way back. Let's see what I can find. All right, dummy me. Looks like I actually missed the real trail, so we'll just keep following it. That was a little concerning, a little scary actually, because I thought I had drifted off the trail, but I clearly just missed the trail entrance here, found it, and I'm back on track. You got to be careful when you're out there hiking. You don't want to go too far off the trail because you know, they design these trails to be relatively safe, and you don't want to get caught out in the middle of someplace and not be able to protect yourself or find yourself a way back. So good thing I found it. Let's finish off this hike. So this road looked familiar. I think I'm on a different part of this access road, but there's another up there. Looks like a loop to get back to the campground. So I think we're gonna go up there and explore that and see if we can get back home. Okay, so this is Phantom Creek. There's no water here, so it's not really a creek right now, but I suspect a lot of times there's some water that goes through here. So this sign that was just over here, this was just for Phantom Creek to let me know what was there. The access road is still there. So I think I'm gonna do that, just walk down the access road, because I think that's where I started my hike. And if worse comes to worse, it'll get me out someplace. So let's go. You know, I don't think they allow it, but that would be a really good place to boondock. A little bit of an access road. You could pull over there and camp. You'd be right near a creek. this would be really, really pretty, but I don't think they allow boondocking up here. But that's something I really want to get into. You know, I now have a power station that I can charge my electronics, and you know, I have everything that you could use out, you know, boondocking. So I want to try and do some more remote car camping when I get a chance. Okay, so that's Maple Leaf. That's the first trail I came up on. And then the second one was right over here. I'm gonna keep following this access trail because I think it's, again, gonna take me out to the water where we need to be. But it's nice to know that I see some familiar places right now. So I have made it all the way through. Now we're gonna finish off this by going all the way down and hopefully seeing some water. Okay, here's another location that if they allowed boondocking might not be too bad. It's enough to get a car here. You are near the road, so you can kind of hear some of the traffic, but it looks wide enough. You could certainly camp here. Again, that is if they allowed it. I don't think they allow kind of primitive camping right there, but again, nice spot. So there's the answer to my question whether or not you could primitive camp up there. You can't. This is just for authorized vehicles. And I get that, but some really good spots up there and a lot of good hiking trails. So this is the day use park, which is across 101 and just down the road from the park. It's still a part of Dosewallips State Park. It closes down at dusk. I thought the water was actually closer, but it's not. It's down the road. So if you're driving in, which is one of the beautiful parts of coming to the state park, you get to see the water here. You can kind of see it, but you can't really get to it, at least from where I can see. So all in all, not a bad spot. Great way to end the hike though. Hey everybody, David, aka RVJEDEYE, aka Car-V-Jedeye, and today we are outside of Seattle at a beautiful state park, Dosewallips State Park. Now this is in Brennan, Washington, which depending on traffic is about 3 to 4 hours outside of Seattle. But the view as you start to come to the park is absolutely gorgeous, a lot of water, and it's definitely a beautiful place to stay. Now Dosewallips State Park is 1,064 acres and it has year-round camping with 5 miles of shoreline on the Hood Canal and the Dosewallips River. It's a beautiful campground when you get here, lots to do, especially some great hiking. Now the campground is a fairly good sized campground, 75 tent spaces, 48 utility sites, 3 platform tents, 12 cabins, 1 dump station, and 3 restrooms. Now during the winter months, December through March, the campground is winterized. Only sites 21 to 29 have water, and winter water supply is only when it's available. Now you may notice at the entrance of the park, you're right on 101, so there's traffic there and you can hear the noise. As you go back into the park, it's not as bad. Now I'm at site 109, which is right across from one of the restrooms, and you can hear a little bit of the traffic at night.
Now, what I like about my campsite is that it's tucked in the back and there's some shade around it and it feels private. Now, in the main park, it's really open and people just camp all out there together. I like kind of being a little bit more hidden. So Dosewallips State Park in Brennan, Washington, a really nice place to get out. Just be prepared to drive. I think you'll like it anyway. Hey, that's going to do it right now for me. Make sure you follow me all over social media at RVJEDEYE. And then, of course, you can follow me on the blog at RVJEDEYE.com. Get out there, explore, car camp, RV, tent camp, however you do it. Come to a state park like this. I think you'll really enjoy yourself and have a blast. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.